What's going on, guys? June here, back with another video. As the format develops, we see that a lot of the decks that are expected to be played are decks with really much lower ceilings than previous formats and really high floors. What does that mean? That means that if we play hand traps, there's a high probability that our opponent can easily eat one or two hand traps and then end on a very similar board that they would have if we didn't. However, if we play board breakers, we might be able to just blow them out of the water. So, for today's video, we're going to be looking at a board breaker tier list and what you should be playing in your deck. If you guys want to see more of this kind of content, make sure to like and subscribe. And if you subscribe, I will play all board breakers in my deck at Anaheim. Just to let you guys know, this week, Lucas Sacco and I are dropping a dude spreadsheet with all the new combos for all the decks. If there's any decks in particular that you guys want to see, let me know in the comments down below and we'll make sure to include them. Alright guys, let's take a look at these board breakers. First up, we have Droplets. Droplets is probably one of the best board breakers designed in this game, to be honest. And I'm going to put it directly in main deck staple. If you're playing a board breaker strategy, Droplet pairs so well with it, just because you're able to chain it to your other breakers and get instant value off of it. The fact that your opponent can't respond depending on the type of cards you send also makes it really valuable. And on top of that, this card actually fits very well into a lot of the decks into the format, like Yummy, Mitsurugi, because all those decks play a lot of spells inherently already. And so then you can easily pair this in those decks and get instant value. Alright, next up we have Lava Golem. Normally, I'd put Lava Golem in here. The card's been unplayable for a while. Honestly, it's not something you really want to play. However, in this format, I'm going to put it in side deck maybe. We don't really know where Lunalight stands in the format, right? It's a weird deck. It could either be really high represented or really low represented. I don't think that it'll be in the middle. And for that reason, I'm going to put this in maybe. You kind of have to make an educated guess on if you expect to see that deck. Because this card is really good against Lunalight, but it's really bad against Mitsurugi, right? Whereas there's other cards that are good into both decks, which makes this card a little bit weaker. However, into Lunalight, this card's an FTK because you can take out both Ligers, you can take out Liger and Babushka. Their whole board relies on their monsters on the field that can't be affected by card effects, so you really just have to inherently summon a monster over them. So this card is interesting. There are decks in the format that don't require their normal summons as well, which makes this card okay. But for the most part, we're going to keep it inside deck maybe. I definitely don't think it can be higher, but because it has playability into some decks, it can be up here. Next, we have the Chalice. Chalice is honestly probably unplayable at all. I don't really see why do you want to play this card when you can play Droplets, Dark Ruler. The decks this format, they don't care about you negating one guy. Maybe this on Morokumo, maybe, but that seems really bad just because you'll lose another card for it because they'll chain. Whereas at least with Droplet, you get to send, you can chain it to cards and send multiple cards and it'd be a lot better. So I definitely think this card is, for the most part, unplayable, and I would not play this card. Super Poly. I think Super Poly can be in main deck maybe. So this card is obviously super strong, and the decks of the format play into it, right? Like Mitsurugi, Yummy, not Lunalight because they're unaffected, but Dracotel plays into it as well, which makes this card really strong. However, this card takes extra deck space, so you can't play in every deck, and it's not good into every single deck. So having it in the main deck is a little sus from time to time, which is why we're going to put it in main deck maybe. But again, when this card works, it's insane. And I did mention that it's activatable against Mitsurugi. The one thing about that is that removing their monsters from the boards is not always super useful. However, if you actually hit the IP and the Futsu, that is a really good combinations of cards to get rid of the field. Just because now they don't have those monsters on the field anymore. They don't have the Futsu to infinitely recur bodies. They don't have the IP to go in a Mundo or an SP, which should be really good. So this is definitely a card to consider, especially in a board breaker strategy. Next I have Econ, and I'm honestly it's weird. I really like this card in a Mitsurugi deck, right? If you're playing board breakers in a Mitsurugi deck, this card can be really good because you can trigger your tribute effects. However, like targeting cards like are just not good this format, right? What are you targeting Murakuma for? Like, what are you gonna do with that? They're gonna tribute it, remove it from the field. What are you targeting a Snatchy for? What are you targeting on the Dracotail board that really matters, really? So I'm honestly gonna say it's unplayable. I had like the 7 stages of grief there with Econ because the card's really cool, but yeah, realistically, like you can't. This card is unplayable. There's much better board breakers in every form in this list. Next we have Regeki. The thing about Regeki, it's really strong, right? Board wipe your opponent. However, like Yummy has Herald, and so it's better to just negate all the monsters or destroy all of them. But then this card is better into decks like K9 and stuff like that. So I'll put this card in side deck maybe if you want to play board breakers. Regeki is not a bad one. It trades one for how heavy manner if they don't have a negate. However, there are cards that are a little more resilient, like Super Poly, that they just can't interact with. This card can easily be negated, which is the issue. Next, I have Change of Heart. Honestly, Change of Heart, great card. I'm letting you guys know right now. I'm putting all the targeting cards, except for maybe 1 or 2. I just looked at the list again. In Cell and TCG Player. These cards are not gonna do anything for you this format. Don't even consider playing them. What are you gonna Change your Heart, guys? They're gonna chain their effects. They're gonna dodge. They're gonna get out of here and out of there, and you're gonna lose. Like, don't play this card at all. Next, I have Salesman. I actually really, really, really like Salesman. I think that you can easily include this card in all your side decks. The only time it'll be bad is if you play a mirror match. Then activating this card can be a little sus, which is why that's fine. This is your staple for every other deck than the mirror, right? You call Snatchy with this. What do? Herald Negate. That's why we play multiple board breakers, guys. Come on, I know you're already thinking about that. So we play multiple board breakers. We negate the Herald, then we call Snatchy, guys. Come on. So you call Snatchy with this, okay? You call Liger Dancer with this. You call Murakuma, right? The whole strategy of the deck is brought down so much. You're killing most of the disruptions with just this card, which makes this card honestly really strong in the format because all the decks are really centered around one endboard piece, except for maybe Christian K9, but that's fine. You just don't bring this in against it. You have much better cards like Dark Ruler and Eclipse, which we'll get to in a second. Next, I have Mellotronus. I really, really like Mellotronus, especially when you pair it with a card like Salesman. If we're saying Salesman's not good for a mirror match because obviously you don't want to lock yourself out of playing the cards, we got Mellotronus, which is the mirror match card, guys. This card's insane. Oh my god, guys. I've always been a big fan of this card. Just E-Telly, negate. It does everything at once. Everything at once in one card that your opponent can't respond to with a specific monster. It's so broken. So yeah, I think side deck stable. For sure, you want to play this card if you're playing board breakers again. I love this card. Kirikara, I think, honestly, I won't put it in Cell and TCG Player because the card, can always kind of highlight, a oomph factor, jump scare, Kirikara, type of thing. But, no, I don't think you should necessarily play this card. We'll put it at the bottom of the side deck maybe if you really want to play those inherent summon cards like that. But I think Lava Golem is better because it's preemptive rather than Kirikara, who's waiting for your opponent to do something about it and then summoning it. Then I have Cosmic. Honestly, what are we Cosmicing this format, guys? Realistically, what are we hitting with it? I can't think of anything. Not even the minion anymore because they're getting it back, with Marshmallow every time. Yeah. Don't play Cosmic, guys. You might as well get more value for your cards and play the other back row hate cards. Next we have Pank. I love Pank as a card, guys. I love Pank. I love Pank because it does way more than people think. If you're playing a Dracotail strategy, guys, Pank is insane, and here's why. First of all, Pank under any kind of half board will put in the work against Yummy, right? And if not, Pank, and again, I was saying the targeting cards I don't like, guys, but this card is special because not only like okay, it pops a card, but it also applies pressure on the board, and this card can like go threaten Herald and destroy it, which in Dragotail is all you want to do, and it's a monster at the same time, so it does everything at once. This is why I really like it. I think that in Dragotail, this should like be in all your side decks if you don't have a better card for Yummy. Like yeah, you could have a card like Spally, but Spally takes again extra deck space as well as it's not a monster. So this guy's a monster. I don't know what to tell you. The guy's a monster. Anyways, next we have Book of Eclipse. I think I really want to put Eclipse in main deck staple. However, I think that right now we are expecting a lot of Mitsurugi. And this card blows against Mitsurugi. So I wouldn't be comfortable main decking it unless your deck, for some reason, has the best matchup of all time into Mitsurugi. And you're like, oh, whatever. If I draw Eclipse, I draw Eclipse. Who cares? So for now, I'd put this in like the top of side deck stable. I think this card is really strong into like Yummy, into K9 cards. This card's really strong. So Eclipse paired with any board breaker is just like FTK against a lot of decks. So I'd put it at the top of side deck stable. All right, next we have Harpy's Feather Duster. I think Duster is like the epitome of the side deck stable. You want to play board breakers? I'm just going to go ahead and grab it right now. Duster and Storm. Duster obviously over Storm first because you can play Duster in any deck. And then Storm if your strategy doesn't rely too much on like you summoning monsters on your opponent's side of the field. On your side of the field during your opponent's turn. Like for example, when I was playing Vanquish Soul, I couldn't play this card because my whole strategy was summon Holy Sue. And so if I resolved Holy Sue, my thing would be dead. I also had Azuna, like too many monsters that could spawn on my field before my turn. So I couldn't play this. But if you can't play this in this, very strong. These cards, guys, they force out a lot of disruptions. Like against Mitsurugi, if like you're able to deal with the trap, if you can't deal with the trap, this deals with the trap automatically. You deal with an Omni Negate. If you dealt with the trap already, this deals with everything else. The prayers, the board wipe, everything. So, very good. Back row hate is always good. Always good. Next, we have Dark Ruler. And Dark Ruler, honestly, this one might sound crazy. You guys might not like this one. But, if your deck can afford to, I would main deck this card. This card is the best board breaker of the format, and the main reason why it should be here is because it doesn't work going first. However, like sometimes who cares, right? If your end board is strong enough, like if you're playing Mitsurugi, right? You're playing your Mitsurugi deck, your ceiling is not that high, but you still have like a decent amount of disruptions. Infinite follow-up. Like the thing about the deck is that it doesn't like always full stop your opponent, but you create infinity follow-up and a wall with Futsu so that you never die. And for that reason, you can afford to play a card like this where on the clapback, you just absolutely destroy your opponent. Like, you just absolutely destroy them. You have infinite follow-up, and you go, oh, wait, by the way. Yo, by the way. Yo, Dark Ruler. Yeah, all your stuff is negated, sorry. Game 2? Like, I think this card, is either at the very bottom of main deck stable because it doesn't work as well going first. But when you go second, la crème de la crème, guys. That means creamy, by the way. Or it's at the very top of side deck staple because it's the best card into the format, like I said. But I'm going to be ballsy and I'm going to put it in here. Next, we have Thrust. Thrust is either here or here. Before or after Droplet. I'm going to put it after. I'm going to put it here. Thrust is so broken, guys. In your Yummy strategy, if you want to play board breakers, Thrust gives you Obedience School for free. Like, you only play 1, well, now you play 4. Too bad they limited it. And then, in this card is just, you see how we have a bunch of board breakers here, guys? I would say, out of all the good ones, you have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have a few more here. It'd be like 5, 6, 7 that are normal spells or traps. And guess what? This card can search them. This card's broken. This card is any card in the game, almost. So, yeah. Great main deck staple. Also playable going first because if you're playing one of the top decks, in your deck you'll have the Dominus cards and Imperm probably to pair with your board breakers. and so you'll be able to set those off of the dominant off of thrust if you get hand trapped. So that's really strong. Evenly matched. I think evenly matched is doo-doo. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it right now, guys. Losing your battle phase, not worth it. Your deck probably does nothing in this format, unless you're playing the secret goo that I don't know about that sets up like FTK boards. And honestly, the only deck that might do that is like Christian K9. But still, like, there's better cards, guys. This Dark Ruler, because you with this card, first of all, you let your opponent pick their best card and keep it. Number one. Number two, you sacrifice your battle phase. So like in main phase 2, while you try to break your like whatever left your opponent has, they could still like set up like a board again through that, and then it's over. Whereas Dark Ruler, while you negate all their monsters, they have to try to set up disruptions, right? And build their board back through the monsters that are stuck on their board. And after that, you can go battle phase and get rid of it. It's literally the complete opposite card. It's so bad. It's so bad. You know what? I'm putting it at the very bottom. And we have a very special guest with us today. Say hello, Lila. All right. Goodbye. Anyways, next we have Fenrir. And I think that Fenrir can be like pretty high in the side deck maybes. I think one thing that this card has going for it is that it completely ignores Marshmallow's like addition to the Yummy deck, because Marshmallow is like, oh, now you banish my field spell, I don't care, I can get it back. Oh, Fenrir is like, well, actually, I'm gonna banish it face down, and now you cannot get it back. Sorry. So I think that's pretty cool about Fenrir. I also think that Fenrir is like a Dracotail deck. If we're talking Dracotail, this card is like at the top of side deck staple for Dracotail specifically, just because of its ability to, you know, be pressure on the board as well as add a free monster to your hand for fusion summoning. But because it's only for Dracotail, I'm gonna put it in side deck maybes, where if you're playing Dracotail, it's a like obvious choice. But if you're playing another deck, then, you know, consider your other board breakers first. See if you want to go more for like a spell strategy, and if not, Fenrir is a decent option. Next, this card's doo-doo. Like, there's like, this card's only good against towers, and currently the deck that makes towers makes 2. What is this card gonna do? Like, just does better. Kaijus, I would say Kaijus are honestly like, I would put them in sell on TCG Player. The only reason I'm not gonna do that is because I'm gonna leak the goo right now, guys. You guys ready? You guys ready? If this is, you're ready. You said you were ready. If this is good goo, you gotta hit the subscribe button. Alright? Alright? Alright. So, Radiant the Kaiju, the Dark Fiend guy. Activate Branded Fusion. Send Albaz plus Radiant. Okay? Make Lubellion, then make Mirror Jade. Alright? 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 Did I lose you? Not yet? Okay, good. Then you make Arthelion with your Dracotail cards. Then you add back your Kaiju. Bang. Kaiju. It's not that crazy. I'll admit it. But it's not bad. You can search for Kaiju. Alright? 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 Alright. Thank you. Anyways, next, Gordon Slicer. This card, I never really liked this card too much. I'm gonna put it towards the top of side deck. No, this card targets. Nah, this card sell that shit. This card's terrible, guys. This card targets, and it can be responded to. It can't be negated, but it can be responded. They could just dodge everything. We're in a dodging format. This card sucks. Nah. Alright, bang. This card takes your resources away for no reason, because every deck in the format can dodge everything. So you're just wasting cards. Bad. Talents, main deck staple. This card's insane. Everybody knows. Look at your opponent's hand. Pair with thrust. It's literally on thrust. That's why it's so good. They put the card. Look, this guy's hand. It's like this. This card's insane. If you are expecting, like, it's a 1 of 2, so it's easy to slot into your deck. If you're expecting board breakers, this card becomes a little bit worse. However, if you're expecting hand traps, this card's insane. Going second, it doesn't matter if they're playing board breakers or not, because they will activate monster effects and try to stop you. This card's insane. We'll put it right above thrust. Ultimate Slayer. Alright, guys. You guys want to hear the goo again? Or no? You tell me. You tell me. This card's insane. Ultimate Slayer, target Herald. Send Herald. Herald effect. My Herald, not theirs. Add Habakiri or a ritual spell. That's not bad, right? We can do that too with Metatronus, but this is a little bit better because it can activate any monster effects in response. And this gets our guy directly to the graveyard. We don't have to like link it off or whatever. But that's one thing. Now, you're going to say, but Julian, a guy like me doesn't break. I don't need to send a Herald. Like, that doesn't do enough. Okay, send Malong. So you go Slayer, target, not Herald this time if you send Malong. Send Malong, target a like Synchro 2, a Yummy Synchro 2. And then Malong, target Herald. Bang. This is also really good in Dracotel because again, in Dracotel, I know this is not a monster. That's the small issue about it. But in Dracotel, all you want to do is take care of Herald because that's the floodgate right against you. Once you take care of that, it's over. Finally, we have Inscription. Now, this one's weird. I put a lot of cards inside side deck stable, guys. They're all really good. They're all really good board breakers. I really like board breakers this format, like I said. Inscription, I'm gonna put it here for now. We'll talk about it and we'll see if I want to move it. I think that Inscription is really strong into the upcoming format. Again, let's think of its 3 effects. Cannot activate effects in the grave, cannot banish cards from the grave, and cannot special summon from the graveyard. What does Mitsurugi do? It special summons from the graveyard. It also activates in the graveyard. It kind of does 2 of them. You can pick which one you think is more detrimental. Yummy, what does it do? It specials from the graveyard. What else? Lunar Light activates cards in the graveyard. What else? Dracotel activates card. Guys, this card might be insane. Now look, it's a little weird, right? If you're playing one of those decks, this card might be a little weird. However, if you just say, if you put this card in your main deck, it might be a little wacko because game 1, you don't know what you're playing against. What the heck are you gonna call? Huh? So we're gonna have to move this to side deck, maybe a side deck staple. I think that this card is probably better than Eclipse because it hits everything but Crystron K9. Or if you're going first, you can put this in against Crystron K9 and just say, oh, you can't activate effects in the graveyard. Sorry. What do? They play K9. But what do they do with their Crystron cards? Okay. But yeah, so I think that this card's really broken into the current format. You just have to play a strategy where you don't mind culling the other effects against your opponent. And so I think this is the card for it. All right, guys, that's going to be it for the tier list. Thanks again for stopping by. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.